finance and trade, giving rise to e-commerce, was the big fruit that needed to happen after the beginning of the 20th century. In India, around 2010 and 11, Nandan Nilekani was given this idea that in order for us to be able to do these things on the net, everybody needs an identity. How do you give digital identity to 1.4 billion people? Well, that's exactly what Nandan did. He created a digital identity which we all now know is Aadhaar. You can create a system, but how do you make sure that people are going to use it? Maybe a little bit of coercion by saying, hey, I think you need to use Aadhaar, because if you don't use Aadhaar, things are not going to go your way. The Supreme Court said, no, that's not true. But there's enough confusion, and that confusion created a lot of people to sign up and get the digital identity. With demonetization, again, currency is not being used, so we need to use digital currency. And then, unfortunate, we got the pandemic. What we needed was some kind of a centralized way where these financial transactions can be cleared. We didn't want to rely on expensive solutions such as MasterCard or Visa, so they came up with UPI. If you look at even advanced countries like the United States, the payment system there does not work as well. They don't have anything like UPI. Transactions can take days for money to transfer from one bank account to the other bank account. So India has kind of taken a leap there. Victory is not really there. Why? Because financial inclusion at the bottom has not yet been achieved. Because this whole technology business is scary. People don't trust it. There are three elements. Technology needs to be simple. It cannot have these IDs and all kinds of 16-digit long numbers. Cannot be like that. It also needs to be human. We don't trust machines as much. So if you can teach your maid how to do it, if you can teach your older brother how to do it, if a young woman can teach all other people in the neighborhood how to do it, then it is likely to happen. Third thing we need is it has to be ubiquitous, everywhere. So you can't say, I'm going to give salary to my maid, but the maid cannot use it to buy vegetables. The vegetable vendor, the person who's giving money, and the maid, they all need to be on the same system. One of the things we are talking in our research is how we can use voice. Humans have a great affinity to voice. It is hard to read a text message to see how much money is in my bank. But if I get a message where somebody calls me and says, Bhagwan, aapke account mein 5,000 rupees hai, that's very easy to understand. Voice can be used not just for verifying bank accounts, bank balances, but also at ATMs and other places. Satoshi Nakamoto has created this thing called Bitcoin, but that's kind of all strange, and it is anonymous and so on and so forth. We want to compete with it. So central bank said we are going to create our own digital currency, CBDC. So now they brought in another thing called e-rupee, which is going to act like cash, but it is digital cash. Now there's a little bit of a problem. Should I use UPI or should I use CBDC? So the uptake of CBDC has not been as high because UPI has been very successful. Similar to UPI, they are creating what's called ONDC. Okay. This is a network, open network for digital commerce, where small players can come and become part of it so that e-commerce can happen easily without relying on big players like Amazon or Walmart or Flipkart. The next big thing is AI, which is also digital. How are we going to combine all these tools, AI, blockchain, the digital public infrastructure, is yet to be seen. What do you think are likely to be the challenges, and what do you think the world is going to look like 10 years from now?